Well, I think it's important to understand that this is two deals put into one, essentially. The first one is a ceasefire and hostage and prisoner swap. The second one deals with Gaza's future and Gaza's governance, transition, disarmament, de-radicalization. And so what we saw announced tonight was specific to the release of hostages and Palestinian prisoners after long and arduous negotiations. I would personally venture out to say that the war is far from over and that we don't know what happens after this phase is over. So we saw Turkey, Egypt, and Qatar applying pressure on Hamas. The Turks are interested in the F-35 stealth fighter program. They want the new F-16s and to modernize their air force. They want sanctions relief. They want reintegration with the United States, militarily and economically. The Qataris, after the strike on Doha and how upset they were, they received an apology from Israel. They received a new security package, if you will, from the United States that promised protection and enhanced commitments to Doha's national security. But in exchange, were expected to deliver Hamas, essentially, and deliver an agreement on the hostages. Same with the Turks. Same with the Egyptians, who are worried about the specter of permanent displacement of the Palestinian people from Gaza into Sinai.
قامت دولة قطر وجمهورية مصر العربية يوم أمس من خلال
İşte milletine sevdalı lider, Cumhurbaşkanımız Recep Tayyip Erdoğan.
It is expected that Hamas will produce all living hostages within the time frame. However, the issue is with the deceased hostages who are buried in different locations throughout Gaza. Some of those locations are under a lot of rubble. Some of them are unknown at this point. Some of the operatives who were responsible for these sites are out of commission or have been assassinated or killed. And so that is one issue to account for. Another challenge is what happens, is the delivery going to happen all at once in terms of living hostages and those who are deceased? Or is this going to be spread out over a day or two? It's understood that there won't be this dragged out release as we saw earlier in the year. Nevertheless, I believe that part of the agreement was to stick to the 72 hours as outlined by President Trump. Hamas is not only counting on guarantees from President Trump to pressure Israel and Netanyahu not to restart the war, but they're also imagining and speculating, based on what I've gathered, that with the hostages being out, it's going to be very difficult for Israel to restart the war, that it won't have any legitimacy to re-engage in military operations in the Strip, and that without this cover, without this sense of legitimacy, this it would be untenable for Netanyahu and for the Israeli government to re-begin the war, and that this would put it at odds with the international community, but also with President Trump as well. And so that is something that Hamas is counting on to prevent the restarting of the war after giving up all of its chief negotiating leverage point, if you will. but I'm also interested in seeing him follow through on the process of getting rid of Hamas's control of Gaza, getting rid of Hamas's dominion over the Palestinian scene in the Strip, so that there can be a process of healing, rejuvenation, recovery, reconstruction, so that Gaza can recover and come back to life and not just be in a state of waiting while Hamas keeps its grip on power. We need to address issues related to water, related to the collapsing health infrastructure. And there's two types of health needs. It's not just people hurt by the war, but it's also people with chronic illnesses, people with regular illnesses. It's women's health, it's pediatrics health, it's all that, it's the cancer patients. And so you have medical needs after the nutrition needs, and that requires materials, equipment, that requires surging capacity. And then you have an issue of the educational system has stopped, it has ceased. All schools have been effectively destroyed or turned into shelters. Students have been out of school now for 3 years, 3 academic years they've been out of school. And so what does it look like to resume that process? And so some of those issues can be addressed in an acute emergency fashion with the surging of aid and capacity. Some of it can only be addressed through long-lasting action like recovery and reconstruction. And that can only happen with the durable peace and end of the war.
Welcome to Money Control, your ultimate destination in the ever-evolving world of finance, business, markets, policy, and technology. India's preeminent news platform, driven by facts and fueled by data. A platform made in India, and for the world. MoneyControl.com has a staggering reach of 100 million plus monthly active users and 6.02 million daily active users. Being a transformative digital force, reshaping how we engage with money, markets, and news. Setting us apart is our commitment to delivering accurate information and empowering financial decision-making in a dynamic ecosystem. Seeking a deeper dive into the financial realm, we present Money Control Pro, a powerhouse of exclusive insights, providing actionable investment ideas and expert analysis. Because in today's fast-paced world, informed decisions demand both information and expertise. And we have 1 million plus Money Control Pro total paid subscribers and 100% return in 1.5 years, beating the market. Explore market trends, access expert opinions, and utilize essential financial tools all at your fingertips. Join the millions who trust MoneyControl.com for their financial journey, where facts meet finance and data drives decisions. Think markets, think Money Control.